Hello, my name is Pratiksha Manglekar and this is the third video for the poem The Schoolboy. So far we have understood what the poet is trying to say, right? What the poet as a schoolboy is trying to say, how his mental condition is because of the school, how he is not interested in going to the school and instead he wants to enjoy the beauties of nature, how the teacher is really cruel with him, and then how he's anxiously waiting for the school to get over, and how the child is also questioning about, how can a bird sit in a cage and sing, and how can I enjoy my youthful spring if this is how the situation is, right? So let us move on and see what the child is trying to say in the fifth stanza. Oh, father and mother, if buds are nipped. Okay, he is now addressing this to his father and mother, right? So he says, oh, father and mother, he's addressed them, and now he says, if buds are nipped. Okay, buds are nipped. Nipped means plucked. Okay, now here NIPP apostrophe D is written. It's it simply means NIPP ED, nipped. Okay, the full word would be NIPP ED. This is the shortened word where you're using an apostrophe instead of E. Now what is the meaning of nipping a bud? Okay, so it's actually it's a phrase which is used in English language. Nip it in the bud. What does it mean? I'll read it out. Meaning, the term nip it in the bud means to put a stop to a situation before it gets any worse or progresses further, right? We usually use it for negative situations, right? So if you see there is something that's rotting, for example, if you see in a bunch of fruits, one fruit is rotting, you better nip it from the bud, right? Remove it off. Okay, if you see a rotten tomato, that's what you would do. You would pluck that tomato out so that it doesn't infect any others, right? In the similar situation, if you see there's a problem that's growing, it's better you nip it at a young situation, at a situation where it can be nipped out easily before it grows into something bigger and worse, right? So that is the phrase this poet is trying to use. If buds are nipped, here what is the meaning? What is the meaning of the word bud? Bud means a young boy. Okay, someone who is young. So in our young age we are buds, but when we grow we become fully blown flowers, right? So a bud means a small child. So if buds are nipped, if you pluck a bud, what happens if you pluck a bud? He's questioning that. What happens? And blossoms blown away. If buds are nipped and blossoms blown away, right? So if you already pluck it out, means if you waste my life right now at a young age itself, and blossoms blown away, what is a blossom? Okay, so this is this blossom is very familiar to cold countries. Blossom is necessarily the flower which grows on a cherry tree. So a blossom grows and after that the fruit cherry grows out of it. You all are science students, I'm sure you know this already, right? A flower grows first, from which the later a fruit grows out of it. So this is a blossom tree. This is a cherry tree. First there will be blossoms. In a particular season there will be blossoms, and in the fruiting season there will be fruits. That is a cherry. So if blossoms are blown away, what happens if all these flowers are blown away? Will the cherry fruit come out? It won't. Okay, simple. And if the tender plants are stripped, okay, what happens if the tender plants are stripped? Means very young plants are growing. If you pluck them or if you uproot them like this, if you uproot them forcefully, if you strip them forcefully, again here the word stripped, STRIPPED. Okay, this particular word STRIPPED, stripped. This is a shortened version of it. If the tender plants are stripped, he says, first of all, if the buds are nipped and the blossoms are blown away and the tender plants are stripped of their joy in a springing day. Stripped of what? Okay, stripped of their joy means their joy is taken away from them on a springing day. It's during the spring that the blossoms are growing, right? It is during the spring that young plants are growing. During the springing day itself, if you take away their joy, and replace it with what? By sorrow and cares, dismay. Right? What happens if you remove all the joy out of them and fill them with sorrowness, fill them with negativity, fill them with dismay? By dismay, you mean concern or shock. That is the word dismay. Always sad and concerned and tensed about something. So if you fill them with all these negative emotions and take away their joy, what will happen? Will they even bloom? No. So we'll understand this in the next stanza. So now what all he has told us? He has told us, first of all, if you if you nip them in the bud, if the blossoms are blown away, and if the tender plants are stripped, what happens? And stripped of what? Their joy on during a springing day itself, and replace it with sorrow and cares, dismay. How shall the summer arise in joy? He's asking, how will the summer arise in joy if you give only negativity to me? Or the summer's fruits appear. How can the summer be joyful? How can the hot days be joyful? And how will the fruits appear if the blossoms are blown away? How will the fruits appear? He's questioning. Which fruit? Which is the summer's fruit? He is now talking about cherry, okay? Because he's mentioned blossoms, we need to understand that he's trying to talk about cherries here, okay? Because after blossoms are blooming, cherries are formed, okay? In hot days, in summer days, we get cherries, and in spring days there are those little buds of blossoms, okay? Blossoms are blooming in the spring season, right? Or how shall we gather what griefs destroy, or bless the mellowing year? How can we do all these things? How can we gather what griefs destroy? What does it mean? Griefs destroy. Okay. These particular words, griefs destroy, means grief or sadness is doing some damage to us, right? So now he has only talked about all the negative things that have happened to him, okay? Now grief has already damaged him so much, but he needs to get over it, right? So that he means gather, okay? This particular word gather means to get over that grief, what all the destruction that has happened, to get over it, to gather. Okay, how shall we do it? How can I get out of the negativity and be positive? Or bless the mellowing year. What is the meaning of the word mellow? Mellow is necessarily a happy word, okay? It's a pleasant word. Being mellow means being at peace, being at calm, being happy. Like these two people are, they are very happy, okay? They are extremely content, they are enjoying their time. So how can I make it mellow? He's asking, okay? Or bless the mellowing year, which are the good parts of the year, which are the mellow parts of the year. How can they be blessed? Is what the poet asks us. When the blasts of winter appear, okay? So how can I be happy when the blasts of winter appear? Means these two slides are related, okay? So this line, or bless the mellowing year when the blasts of winter appear. Blasts of winter is necessarily a negative connotation here. I'll tell you why. Usually something which is warm is considered happy and joyful, whereas something which is cold is considered sad. You must have seen this in a lot of movies, okay? In Bollywood movies, the actor is extremely sad, okay? Now he is sitting in a car and enjoying his ride, and not enjoying really, because he's sad, right? So he's looking out of the window and you see there is rain. Normally all these sad situations are related to coldness or to wetness, right? Whereas when you're wishing someone, you say, wish you a very very warm and joyous Diwali, okay? Warm wishes to you. Warmth is a necessarily a positive symbol, okay? A very positive word, whereas cold is a negative one. In this particular line, when the blasts of winter, blast is a sudden outrage, suddenly blast, like when you say a bomb blast, fire coming out, in an explosive manner. So blasts of winter means winter is where there's snow, the weather is really cold. That is winter. Now Now obviously there's no rain, there's no snowfall happening from where I come from or where you come from, I'm sure. But then in the Western countries, it does happen. Winter here necessarily means the ending part of one's life, that is the old age. Okay, so he's saying, how can how can we bless the mellowing year? How can we be happy when during our old age? How can we be happy? He is questioning. How can we tolerate that? How can we be happy in our old age if our young age itself is like this? If we are sad at such a young age itself, how can we be happy when the blasts of winter appear? When the when we are at the peak of our life, the peak means the end of our life, how can we make it mellow year? How can we make it a mellow time? Okay, I hope you have understood the poem. This video includes the solutions for the questions given after the poem. Question 1. Who do you think I refers to in the poem? Answer: the schoolboy, or William Blake as a schoolboy. Answers like poet, speaker, or only William Blake would be wrong, because it is the schoolboy who is speaking to us. And since the poet is William Blake, it is not the adult William Blake who is speaking to the reader. It is the your William Blake who was a schoolboy. So a schoolboy or a school-going boy or William Blake as a schoolboy would be an appropriate answer. Question 2. Sweet company refers to skylark, huntsman's horn, bird's song, all of the above. All of the above is the correct answer. Question 3. What drives the boy's joy away, or what cannot give delight to the schoolboy? Going to the school on a summer morning drives the boy's joy away. Question 4. How do the little ones spend their day in school? Answer: sighing and dismay, in sighing and dismay. Question 5. What does cage metaphorically refer to in the poem? Answer: school is compared to a bird's cage. So the cage is school. Question 6. Pick the phrase from the following which does not refer to formal schooling. A. Buds are nipped. B. Fruits are gathered. C. Plants are stripped. D. Blossoms are blown away. Answer: B. Fruits are gathered. Relate the seasons mentioned under column A with the stages of life under column B. The red table is the questions, whereas the green table is the answer. I'm reading out the questions A and B. Spring, summer, winter, youth, old age, childhood. The answer, that is, I'll highlight it for you in case. This is the answer. Okay, the answer: spring is youth, summer is childhood, winter is old age. You can remember another one: autumn is middle age. Comprehension 2. What does the schoolboy love to do on a summer morn? What drives his joy away? The answers that I'll be mentioning here for comprehension 2 and comprehension 3 are only pointers. They are not complete answers. I'm not asking you to by heart these or make a note of these or anything. These are only for your reference. These are pointers, right? You are very free to add on, your own points or give a different perspective altogether. That is also completely fine. This is only a basic framework that I am providing here. This is not the answer or anything. These are only pointers. What does the schoolboy love to do on a summer morn? What drives his joy away? Answer: on a summer morn, he likes to rise early when the birds sing, the distant huntsman blows his horn, and skylark sings with him. He wants to be a part of that sweet company, their sweet company. Cannot do any of these. He cannot do any of these because he has to go to school, and that drives his joy away. The first stanza essentially gives you the answer. Question 2. Describe the boy's experience in school. There are so many different things that you can write about here. Answer: write about fear and discouragement, the authoritarian ways of teaching, because of, he mentions the cruel eye, under the cruel eye. So because of that, he is always sighing and he is in dismay. He feels boredom and fear, and he's always drooping and restless. He feels restlessness. The books give no joy to him, and the school makes him feel very, very worn out and damaged. Question 3. According to the poet, how does formal education curb a learner's potential? Or explain the poet's use of natural images to caution the parents about the effects of formal schooling of their child. So, does it curb a learner's potential? Does formal education curb learner's potential? Yes, it does curb a learner's potential and takes away the child's freedom. The child feels like caged bird in a school with a drooped wing, with a broken wing, has very low spirit and sense of fear. Children children are like plants, okay, and what do plants need? They need to be nurtured, they need care, so that they can ripen later and to bear fruit. Similarly, in the childhood, if the child is kept in a natural free environment, which can be in which the child can be spent in which the child can spend time with nature, only then the child will blossom into a mature adult. Okay, child or children will mature into adult or adults. Here spring stands for new growth. School does not allow the spring to flourish, right? Remember, we spoke about the spring season, and that stands for the new growth where the blossoms are blooming. But if the blossoms itself are damaged, then nothing will happen, right? The fruit will not come out of it. Right. Comprehension 3. Question 1. Formal schooling not only takes away the joy of childhood but also hinders the child's growth forever. Explain. Or, why does Blake reject the conventional education system? Or, what are Blake's views on formal education? This question is really similar to the previous one also. So, answer is, seasons of the year are related to different stages in life. So you can write a little bit about that, which season represents what. Okay, and if damage is done in a younger age, what happens? Childhood experiences has its impact on adulthood and old age. This we already spoke about. If when childhood only the child gets a lot of sadness and dismay, how will the adult version of that child be good and matured? I'm continuing the answer here. Growth in summer. If buds, blossoms, and plants themselves are destroyed in spring, how can there be growth in summer? Right? Summer is a time when you bear the fruit, the cherry. Remember the cherry tree. So if the buds are already nipped and blossoms are blown away and the plants are stripped, okay, if they're all destroyed in the spring season itself when they're supposed to grow, how will you bear the fruit? You won't. So happy childhood is equal to happy adulthood and old age, right? Don't write it like this, obviously. Explain it in words. These are just pointers. Childhood experiences are important for a pleasurable life, correct? School plays a major role in giving the child its experiences, okay? Giving the child its childhood experiences. School plays a major role because the child spends most of the time in the school, right? And if you have a pleasant childhood, you will have a pleasant adulthood and old age. Question 2. Do you think the poet is arguing against education? Discuss. No, the poet is not arguing against education. Obviously, the poet is not against education. He's against unhealthy practices in education. He's only against these authoritarian ways of teaching, things that are unhealthy. The poet is against them. Education offered in a free and healthy atmosphere. He's saying education should be offered in a very free and natural atmosphere where the child feels free, not like a caged bird or insecure or restless, how the poet is feeling, how the schoolboy is feeling. Experience of learning should not be dreary and dull, should not be boring, monotonous, lethargic and dull. It should be really active, pleasant, which gives joy and happiness. Creative potential, think about their creative potential, focus on the creative potential and turn them into productive human beings, right? Focus on the creativity, creative aspects of the child, and make sure they become productive in life. Okay, with this we come to the end of this particular poem, The Schoolboy. I hope you all have understood it, and I hope you all have understood the question and answers as well. Again, I am saying this again, that please, these are only the pointers, these are not the final solutions. Make sure you edit the answer as per your requirement.